Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, excuse me, and good evening. Let's kill some of this volume. Well, the Exchequer did not lower rates, and that is becoming, that song, that constant dance. Lower rates, lower rates, lower rates. It's like, cut me a break. Stop the lower rate stuff. So, let me think. What else can we say about any of that? I guess that is truly the gist of it all at this point. This lowering of the rates. With the world with world inflation. That's what it really comes down to. With the inflation being, so upside down at this point, there's not much room for them to want to do anything. I mean, honestly, that's what the problem is. That inflation monster is out there, and it's very hard to want to deal with that. I mean, that's what the problem is. So, we just we hear them say it. It's so weird. We have all these Fed governors saying, no, we can't lower rates. We need inflation to show that it's receding, or going away. Same time, Mr. Biden, I heard him yesterday say that when he took the office of the presidency, inflation was at 9%. It was at 1.4. So if he doesn't know how to measure inflation, no wonder he says all these foolish things. He said it a couple times. I took office, inflation was 9%. It's like 9%. It was at 1.41. Actually, to be exact, it was 1.41. That's it. It was under 2. So we have people in government that have no idea what's going on. And so it's nice to see that the Exchequer did not, go try to push the rates up or, lower rates and try to pretend that that's all good. That's all hunky-dory. No problem here. Nothing to look at. I guess the last thing you want is inflation starting to explode again. That would be really bad. That's obviously that's the last thing you want is for the inflation to start exploding. And that's that is really the rough part of it all. Really is. And then when the European Union said, "Hey, we'll do that too," it's like, let's hope not. And sure enough, it seems like things have calmed down. We'll see, because I think it was yesterday during the webinar, I thought we saw Sweden and Switzerland start to, make some of those types of moves. So it is what it is. It's the way it rolls. So what else can we say about any of that? I guess that's the name of that story. So now from there, let's put that dollar index up on the screen and take a look at it. We wondered why it keeps on drifting around the way it does. Let me get the chat line up. I just realized I don't have the chat line up. Let's get that chat line up. Talked for 5 minutes and we don't have a chat line up there for anybody to say, "Hey, Doc, you sound crazy today." Doc, you sound crazy today. Let's put the dollar index up there too, right there. There's Robin. Yo, Robin! Have an interest in any specific market? Ask Doc. He will review it for you. Cool. I like that. Yep. So, again, we're happy about the idea that they're not, doing exactly what we're saying in a sense. In other words, it's like, oh, this is good. Let's not and say we did. Yeah, that's pretty much the relevancy of it all. All right, now there's the dollar index, and as you can see, that dollar index seems to be trapped in that big circle. It tried to drift out of it once and failed at it, and we'll see how that plays itself out. But that is you know the dollar is going to be sideways to strong, and as long as the polls keep on staying as strong as they are for Mr. Trump, then there's no reason to believe that they're not going to stay that way. And what else can we say about any of that? And I guess that's the best way to describe it more than anything else. What else can we say about that? I guess that's the best way to describe it. And we had initial jobless claims come out over the last few minutes, 231,000 compared to almost on target. Continued jobless claims were the same, 1.785 million versus same thing, 1.785. We're at a point now where we're really concerned about the BLS. BLS is they keep on every month. What happens is that the initial jobless claims were 231,000 actual. They were expecting 215,000. So, but notice, see, I'm waiting for the when you get the monthly one, what it does, it usually shows you the how do we describe this? What it usually shows is that they have to reevaluate and adjust the previous months. So what they do is, as everything else in this universe, they love to just invent. They love to invent. I guess that's the best way to describe it. They love to come up with new numbers the following week. That's what it really comes down to, and they just don't stop. So in other words, let's see, they just refuse to stop this constant spin, and that's what it really comes down to. It's like a constant spin, and it just doesn't seem to be any stopping it at this point. Let's see. There we are. All right. So, I guess we might as well do this. We might as well drift over to, let's drift over to the euro. Let's see what the euro is up to. There it is right there. And there is the euro. You see euro lifting up a little bit. And we just noticed, this cable was on the screen first. What we're seeing really is that the let's see right there. Okay, yeah, you can see it's a little bit higher right there. We're seeing a little bit higher euro. In other words, it's gaining against the dollar. Let's sell for 2 days. Let's grab one of these. We'll put up a new one. Go like that. So it went into the sell yesterday. Went down, and then they thought, wow, government's being responsible. They're not lowering rates. Maybe we can trust things. I think they were interpreting that they were definitely going to start lowering rates, and when they do that, it gets kind of crazy. You know what I mean? It does turn into crazy. So, when everybody knows it shouldn't be done to begin with. All right, let's take a look at that cable. Where is it at? Right there. See the same action. It's trying to lift up. It was falling down, but once they announced that they weren't going to lower rates, it started to lift up again. And we talked about this yesterday. We saw a couple countries overall in Europe have lowered rates, but at this point, the best thing everybody could do is just leave interest rates alone. Just leave them where they're at. Don't try to pretend that inflation has gone away. And if they would just do that, that would be very positive. It would be very, very positive. let's see. Where do we go from there? Do we stay with the currencies, or should we take a look at a couple stocks? I say we jump over to the stocks again. Just staying with that pattern of Janos asking for stocks, and if he's looking at any of these videos in the night, give him an opportunity to do that. So let's go take a look at open workspace, and let's go in there and take a look at let's look at Amazon as it opens up. There it is. Let's put Amazon in there. And Amazon's just firm. It's been in buy now for 5 days. Hasn't really gone much. And we'll see if it, it's in that weekly sell. So if it's Thursday. So we're getting towards the end of the week. I don't think they can knock the market down. That's the thing. And, if it ends up settling up in here and we start to go into a weekly buy, the idea is that sell puts against the long puts and try to make the money back that way. What else can we say about this? It really is. It is interesting to see the stock market itself. Just seems to be. I think yesterday we what was the title? We had that title. It was like something about manipulated. It looks so manipulated at this point. It really does, and it's like it trades like as if it's stupid money. That's what we used to call it, stupid money. That's how we used to refer to it on the trading floors. When you saw someone coming in and just buying and buying and buying, and normally the markets didn't function that way because there was a lot of different centers, I guess you'd say, or buyers of last resort. Now that we only have the Federal Reserve almost being solely the only buyer of last resort, there's no competition. So you can see very foolish. In other words, they don't do the buy low, sell high concept. What they do is they go with the buy high and then buy more higher and then buy more higher. And that's not normal to a market. That's never been a normal thing for a market. And so now that ever since 2009, that's all we've seen is that action, ever since the creation of quantitative easing. So we have to assume that that is the nature of it at this point. It's that attitude of it all. Let's take a look at Apple. Apple, again, another one that's kind of trapped in the daily sell here and in a weekly buy. That clearly screams stupid money. It's not doing anything positive. Let's put it that way. Trapped. Not backing and filling, not giving an opportunity to buy lower. Almost a pyramid situation. In other words, there's powers behind all this right now that want the markets to stay where they're at, and no matter who comes in to sell it, more money is out there to buy it, and it's not necessarily money managers. That's the problem. It's not differing opinions or different philosophies, or for every buyer there's a seller, or every seller there's a buyer. Instead, it's almost like we're going to hold this market up, and it doesn't matter what news comes out. All right, let's close that now, and we'll go back to the Swiss. See what the Swiss is up to. There's the Swiss right there. A second day in a buy. Let's put that in there. Right there. And so you can see here the Swiss has been in a buy for a while now, about 14, 15 weeks, something like that. Maybe even longer. Let's tighten it up a little bit. We went into that weekly buy back in March, and there's 3, and then there's 6, and there's 9, and then there's 12, and then there's 15. We're on the 16th week in a buy. We were thinking that when it went into the buy yesterday, we thought, well, maybe they'll go back up to the 91 and a half, something like that. Today's high is 90. What's that? 90, 98. Almost got to 91. It's not a big move, and they're trading the Swiss organized. It's not being pushed around, and it's not flying all over the place. It's very solid, consistent, and steady. I guess that's the best way to describe it. It says disturbing. Or Bush slams police response. Oh, okay. Okay, so let's see where are we at this point. Let's take a look at the yen. I keep on seeing these headlines about the yen, like was it something about beware of what you wish for? And they're talking about the yen. The yen has been, ran up to 60 and change. It's at 55, going, 155 and a half basically. And let's see what else. It's been a weekly buy. What is that? That's 4, 8. Is that 8? Yeah. 2, 4, 6. This is the 8th week in a weekly buy. And we can take a look and see how it looks on the Nikkei. Let's take a look at that. Let's see, where's that mouse at? Right there. And there is the I got the Nikkei up there. Yeah, that's the Nikkei. You see the Nikkei's in a weekly sell for 6 weeks, and you can see it just pushed into the daily sell now. Yesterday it went into the daily sell, and it's down again today. We'll see how that rolls along, because it says 8th there. It's yesterday's close, and so but that is last night right there. So there is the 8th. It was down there, but it was a green dot, and now it is a red dot today, the close to it. There we are. So that's putting that pressure again on the currency's putting the pressure on the stocks. Well, it makes it cheaper. You're able to go in and you're buying stocks at a discount. Everybody, at least let's put it this way, most logical or most investors want to buy low and sell high. That's what they want to do. Now, the markets don't seem to be accommodating them, but that is the natural tendency. So in this case here, they're basically, the currency, by the currency running up or losing value, it makes it cheaper to buy those stocks. Buy low, sell high. There's the great experiment. They are flirting with the sell. You see it's at minus 0.04. At the same time, you can see the weekly is still holding in the weekly. It's trying. And unless I sit on this currency, in other words, or in this case here, when we say sit on it, means that they pressure it. Chances are this thing might actually close in a weekly buy again. If there was it 33 weeks in a weekly buy, and then it went into a weekly sell last week. And it really hasn't done much. I think it's trapped in that big giant rectangle, and I just don't see it changing. There's just no reason for it. Let's see, where else are we? So that is the Turkish lira. Now what we'll do is we'll slide over to the South African rand, right there. And because of that big down slope and the lack of rallying in the metals, we've been confused on that. I guess we could say also that triangle that we've been watching for so long now. Yeah. I guess you could say they're adjusting like that. Let's see. That I'll just pull that down like that. Maybe that's the triangle and it's trapped there, and we'll see if it stays there and bounces like it did. Um, but when it comes to the metals themselves, right there, there's the gold. Gold lifting up today. You know, it was trying to get into the sell this morning. Seems to have failed at that. It's but we're trying to drift into the weekly sell, which is a surprise. Especially when we see the South African rand going, that one direction versus another. So, the metals market is truly, it's governed a lot by fear, and that's just like a crypto. It takes the movement in it is more of a lack of confidence in the central bank, or the control of inflation, or just a lack of the value accepting of a currency. So it's kind of like one of those disaster products. And the thing is, it's been around thousands of years. It's a metal. And so then you have the cryptos now are taking a lot of that risk off the back of the golds and the silvers and everything else. All right. From there, we'll drift over to silver. Right there. There's silver. And silver doesn't seem to be wanting to give up, and it's not even threatening a weekly sell. So maybe we're seeing more than anything else in the gold is probably some profit taking. All right. And so silver, in a buy both weekly and daily. Obviously, that's the place to be. And then there's the copper. It's starting to roll over again. Not sure why in particular it would want to, but it is. It's rolling over. But we're in that weekly buy, and we've been in that weekly buy for a while, all the way back to almost February, the middle of March. So we're looking at, there's 3, and then there's 6, and then there's 9. There's 9 weeks, and then there's 12 weeks. This is the 13th week in a buy. Not bad. Obviously, it's pretty healthy for the buyers, that is. And for the sellers, let's put it this way, it's a squeeze. They're squeezing them. All right. Last but not least, we go to what I consider platinum, the most dangerous short in the world. And it's holding up. And it's outperforming everybody. It's almost up 10% now for the last 3 weeks. 10% off of its lows there. It's gone there before, no more than 2 weeks before that. It goes back and forth. But I see this as the most dangerous short of all, because when you have gold trading over $2,000 and this thing can't trade over 1,000, that is not a ratio I want to play with. I'd be very concerned about that. But again, we believe that we can tell you the story about the metals. Pretty much every fund on the planet, almost every fund. Every mutual fund, every retirement fund, every hedge fund, they all have an incorporation. They become a company, and then they go and get investors to come into them to invest and give them money to invest. And so pretty much every incorporation always has a gold stipulation. It's very rare that it doesn't. And I'm sure they're now starting to slide cryptos into it. And so what happens is that a fund who's working with public money, which are thousands of them all over the place, the majority, like 99% of them are, have to honor their manifesto that they incorporated, or they'll get sued by their investors. Doesn't matter if they're making money or not. And so they always talk about the metals. And they always say, and they use gold as usually the standard, the standard. if gold goes to this, then you should do this, this, and this with your stocks and your bonds and your cash. Maybe lighten them up a little bit, sell some calls against them, things like that. And so one of them obviously is that if you keep gold down, it makes it easier for the stock market to stay up. Okay? That's why we don't see $5,000 gold or $10,000 gold, which I would have thought we would have saw. We saw it at one point. There was a, back in '09, I guess 10, right around 2010, they got so terrified, it ran up big like that. But the incorporations forced the Fed to keep pressure on the gold, and I think they've been doing it by keeping the platinum down, and that's why they short it. That's why I think it's the most dangerous short in the world, because one day the Fed won't have that power anymore. And when it doesn't have that power, then this thing could be, $3,000 an ounce, not $1,000 an ounce. And if you talk to any gold investor, they would tell you the same thing, that, if gold is trading at $2,400 an ounce, there's a good chance that platinum should be like $3,000 an ounce. And so that's why I consider this the most dangerous short in the world, because it's obvious. The incorporations all have it in their manifestos. It says, if gold does this, or if silver and gold do that, then you must do something else. And that is why we think that this is a very big risk. We think that trying to play that short is a very dangerous game. That's what we think. So we talk about it, and sometimes I don't make myself clear enough to describe what we're talking about. But that's exactly what we're talking about. It's definitely a major risk. All right. From there, let's see. That's pretty much the metals. Let's go take a look at the energies. And there is crude oil, which went into the daily buy yesterday and showing a little bit more strength there today. And you can see right there, the weekly is still down, but it is trying to lift. It is trying to lift there. Let me see, what else is it? I just want to look at. Okay, so what is, I was wondering where the fast is, but let's see if we have the fast in here style wise. No, it doesn't. We don't have that. Okay. Now let's take a look at. Let's go over to the beta. We'll put. Let's see. So you can see that there, and here is the beta. And you see it's in a second day. There's where it went into the buy right there, and we don't see the algorithm yet updating. It won't update till the end of the day. And then you can see here's 3 weeks in a sell, and it is now starting to push harder, in the sense that it's you can see, just like over here on our other platform, you can see that it's trying to move up, but it still hasn't gotten into the buy. Now let's look at Brent, and there's Brent right there. And so you can see Brent also in that same situation. Same situation. And you can see right there, it got into the buy yesterday. There it is right there. You see it got into the buy, and that's it right there, the 8th, and that is the 8th right there. And this is the 9th. You can see it's lifting up as we speak, and the weeklies are still on the downside there. We'll go to Nat Gas. Nat Gas slid into the sell there yesterday, and you can see it right there. And you can see the weeklies holding on for 3 weeks now on a buy. And I think we suggested yesterday that I would assume what that really comes down to is that we're doing less drilling here in the States. Because when they do a lot of drilling in the States, it releases gas, and they collect the gas up and they sell it. And then what we do is we take a look at the energy company in Spain right there, which hit the $25 area yesterday. It's like, ow, what punishment that is, you know? That is definitely a surprise on many levels. But, you know, I saw a headline today about how Germany is doing natural gas over nuclear. So that pretty much has a lot of people, you know, thinking they need the natural gas. All right. So let's take a look at that weekly too. The weekly's been in a weekly buy now for 5 weeks. You know, it's not letting go there. You can see that. Was it 7 out of 8 weeks it's been in a buy, or is that no? That's a buy there too, and that's a buy. So it's at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 out of 12 days it's been in a buy. The natural gas company, and it's gone from since what was it the 11th of was that April, right? Yeah, I guess that's the 11th of April. So right in here, it went into the buy, and that's the action we've gotten out of it. It's gone from the 21 area up to the 25 area. Ouch, ouch, and ouch. All right. And again, 5 weeks in a weekly buy. All right, now from there, let's see, what did we do? We did natural gas, we did crude oil, we did Brent, and we did the Spanish energy company. So that's pretty much the energy side of this conversation. Now we can take a look at some of the stock indices around the world, see what's been going on with that. We can look at individual stocks. You know, there's all kinds of opportunity. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Let's go over to. We saw the Nikkei, but let's just reconfirm it where it closed out last night. There it is right there. The Nikkei closed down, and it's pushing into the old sell there. And you know, we've been in a weekly sell now for 6 full weeks. We'll go to the Kospi, the South Korean index. There it is right there. It is trying to push into the buy there yesterday. Jumped up there. But look at what they did to it again today. So more than likely, it's probably got it down. Well, it's got a green dot, but it's down at the lows of the last 3 days. So chances are it's probably back into the sell. We won't know until the close of the night. And then same thing on the weekly. You know, you wouldn't want to try to take the longs anyway, since it's 6 weeks in a weekly sell. Whoop, there it is right there. 6 weeks in a weekly sell. So then from there, we go over to, we go to the Taipei. There's the Taipei. Taipei is 2 days in well, basically 3 days in a buy, and it's been moving up, but they sold it down today. But it's still in the buy by the hair of its chinny chin, I would imagine. And at the same time, you can see the weekly has drifted into the sell side. So we're pushing down on the weekly. Go over to the Philippines. There's the Philippines. You can see they pushed it down. It's been in the sell for 4 days. And it's probably going on a 5th day with the way they knocked it down like the rest of the markets over there in Asia. And you can see it's all 10 weeks in a sell at the same time. From there we go over to, let's take a look at, see, trying to think where we are. So we just left right off the edge of China. So let's go take a look at Shanghai. And there's Shanghai. It's been pressing up now for, is that 3, 7? This is probably the 8th day now it's been in a buy since here. Since the end of April. And at the same time, you can see we are 5 full weeks in a buy, and 6. Oh no, that's 3 and 5 is 8. 9 out of last 10 weeks it's in a buy, and it's mainly just zigzagging its way around. But now we seem to be breaking out a little bit more. And then, what goes next? Let me take a sip of water. Ah, that tastes good. The pleasure of fresh water. And then from there, we'll go over to the Hang Seng and see how they're doing there. That's been really on fire for the last 4 weeks. You can see here, it's just the last 3 days now, and it's hard to say if they're moving back in. It was up for the day today. You can see that there, right there, right there. It was up. So at this point, you got 4 weeks in a buy. You got a couple days in a sell. And we'll see. It seems to be following. It moves along more with the other Asian markets like Hong Kong, and Hong Kong does with like the Philippines and Taiwan and South Korea and so forth, and Japanese. All right, so from there we're going to go to Singapore Straits Times, cross from the Hong Kong, right there, and you can see there it's. What is that? That is the 5th day in a sell, but they did lift it up. Interesting. And it's basically 10 weeks in a buy. 10 whole weeks. There it is. Let's see. All right. So at this point, let's go over to the Australian as we move into the Indian Ocean and the bottom of the Pacific, basically. And let's put that up there. Let's see, where is she at? There it is, right there in the all ordinaries. And as you can see there, it's been in a buy for look like 3 solid days, and today they still have a green dot, but it's down big. So, and at the same time, the weekly is now pressing into the sell. It's been 8 out of 10 weeks in a sell to begin with, so that's definitely having problems there. Now we'll just take a look at the Nifty 50 out of India. I think it's in Mumbai, and you can see there's 4 solid days in a sell. And definitely 5 with the way this looks today. They sold that down, and at the same time, I'm sure when it shows up on our screen tonight, it will be pressed down. And at the same time, also, we have 3 solid weeks in a sell. So that is the Pacific and the Indian Ocean communities that we follow. So now what we'll do is we will, let's see. All right. So then what we do is we slide over to Europe. All right, let's see now. Where's it at? There's the DAX. DAX is 3 solid days in a buy, and definitely on a 4th day. They're lifting it up. And 2 weeks in a buy. The French market, the CAC 40, up 2 days in a buy, going on a 3rd day in a buy, and flirting with its weekly buy also. So we're seeing strength coming into the European stock markets. And then we'll take a look at the FTSE. And there's the FTSE. That is 4 days solidly in a buy, and more than likely you can see the 5th day has got a green dot, and it's moving up also. And at the same time, that weekly is 10 weeks in a buy. So they're not exactly running away from the European stock market. And we'll jump over here to the States. Where is it at? Right there. Let's take a look at, there's the S&P 500. That is the main product for the money managers around the world. They try to outperform the S&P. And you can see here, the daily has been in a daily buy for 5 days now, right from there. And I'm sure it's holding in there today. You can see the weekly is doing the same thing as some of the others around the world. It's trying to get into the weekly buy as we speak. Then we go over to the Tech 100 right there. Again, going on 5 days in a daily buy. And the weekly is still underneath the sell at the moment. We'll see how that plays out by tomorrow. And then we go look at the grand lady of them all, the old Dow Jones Industrial Average, looking very firm on the weekly, that's for sure. And you can see 5 days in a buy on the daily. And that says a lot because it's a divisor index versus a cap-weighted one. And, it has each of the major companies in there is treated very well. Definitely. In other words, they're the top of the top. They're the best of the best. Okay. Let's see. Now, from there, we go over to the Russell 2000. Right there. There's the Russell 2000. And you can see that's also doing that 5 days in a buy. And looking very good from the way it's starting off the day here. And you can see the weekly has done the same thing. It's jumped up in the buy. All right. And that pretty much takes care of the U.S. stock indices. We'll take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin there. A couple days in a sell. And, it's not having that luck, I guess you could say, or the strength. So you can see the Bitcoin is now 6 weeks in a weekly sell. And that's the actual Bitcoin. Now let's look at the ETF. The ETF is 10 weeks in a sell, excuse me. And 2 days in a sell so far. And looking like it today is the second day of that sell. All right, now what do we got from here? I guess that completes it, and we've got about another 6-7 minutes. So actually, we've got 9 minutes. We talked about yesterday's title. Let's take a look at that title again, because there was a lot to be said about it, and I think I want to clarify and possibly, if anybody cares, answer any questions about it, because like I've said throughout the webinar today, it looks like stupid money trading in the markets. And I know that sounds odd when someone says that, it's like, what's stupid money? Well, stupid money is where it doesn't look for bargains. It doesn't try to buy low and sell high. That's what stupid money is. And so that's why we said that at the time. It really did have that look to it. And it has had that look off and on since 2009. So I'm just looking for my title yesterday. There's title, Manipulated Market Price Action. And that's what we meant by that. And there's not much of a difference. I guess we could say today's title could be, because we're still talking about that same subject, manipulated market, bad price action, that type of thing. And so today, I could easily say that the title is, How is Money Stupid? I think that's a good way. Is money Stupid. And that is stupid. There we are. And basically what it comes down to is when money doesn't try to find a bargain and they just reach for something and there's no reason for them to reach. In other words, there's no major, like they're not lowering rates in the next 12 hours, things like that. In other words, there's nothing, there's no earnings coming out to justify wanting to race for something. There's no new sales. There's not any new information. And they just keep on lifting products. And then you keep on finding that the different markets or the different products or stocks or whatever, commodities are only going up because the central bank is supporting them. And you say, wow, is that really true that they're supporting things? Well, I can tell you that some of them, they give out enormous amounts of money overnight, every night. So like a Citadel, one of the major market makers / hedge funds, has $1 billion given to them every night, and then the next day, the Fed will say, that's all right, we'll take it back tomorrow, and you can have it for free. And so they give them money to be able to control products and buy stocks and so forth. And so they flood. There's an old concept when the Federal Reserve wasn't so aggressive. When an economy was growing, what they would do is, when they thought it was growing too fast, they would go to the local banks and they'd say, you know what, we'd like to, you're holding bonds, we'd like to buy those bonds. I'm sorry, you have all that cash, that's what it is. You have all that cash in your bank, we would like to take that cash from you and give you bonds. And that would slow down the growth because they wouldn't have the cash to lend out. And vice versa. When an economy got slower and slower and slower, they would do the same thing again. They would say, you know what, we got all this cash, we want to buy those bonds that we gave you back. And the bonds would be, or the cash would be in reserves, what they would consider reserve accounts. And they could borrow from them a little bit, the banks, and lend to investors. Now, now that the Federal Reserve is the main control over everything, they tell the banks what they can do and not do with their money. So in other words, someone comes in, they have a great track record of paying their bills. They own a house, and it's not that much debt on it, and they want to open up a business, and they say, we'd like to borrow some money against our house. Well, the Federal Reserve looks at a certain number and so forth, and then says, okay, you can lend it to them or you can't. And a lot of times they can't because they make it very hard. And so that's how money is stupid at times. In other words, it's not looking at the individual about what their ability is or what they're talking about investing in. It's the other way around. They just say, well, everybody has to tighten their belt, and we're not going to let you invest in your own private business. And that is what we refer to as stupid money, because when they do that, then what they're doing is they're doing a command and control economy. And so you're not getting any growth. You're just, it's all government directed. So they decide what to build, what to grow, what to paint, what to make, and that's how stupid money shows itself, because you're not seeing any real natural growth. So, all right, what else? Let's take a look at VIX on the beta. There's the VIX. You see, we're 10 weeks in a sell. They couldn't get it into the buy, even when they tried. Let's just take a look at it over here. Let's see, where is it at? Right there. There we go. And then, let's see, where's it at? Right. The VIX is right there. Let's take a look at the VIX this morning. and see how it's looking. There's the VIX. Now, in the VIX, what we use, let's see, even on this VIX here, there's the 5. See, we're using the 5. That's why it's bluish. So it went into the weekly buy, but not on the beta. Even the beta's 5 wouldn't go into a buy. That's the blue line there. Wow, crazy people. And so the VIX is really having its problems. And that was a great move here. And you can see the 5 jumped out. I'm a little surprised that we didn't get that action in the on the beta. Let's see. What else can we look at out of this magical fun? What else? Let's take a look at the SPY. There's a SPY trying to climb up. It's getting very close, and it's been in daily buy now for 3 full days. Let's see, that's yesterday, right? No, that's today. That's the 8th. So they're not reflecting yet how they're doing, but I can show you on the other screen the stock market is lifting up. See it here. See, it was down at almost 5,196, I believe it was, or 95, right around there. And now it's trading at 5,215. So it's jumped 20 points. You can see the same thing right there. And they're marching continuously and slowly straight up. And again, we believe that is literally the political thrust of it all. They don't have much they can campaign on, so they need to be able to. I saw Biden say, look at the stock market, look how many jobs, blah, 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 blah. And when I came in, inflation was 9%. I mean, they are just constantly saying these things. And by constantly saying these things, they think people are going to believe it. But as up on the tape, they were interviewing a senator, and the senator said, the most expensive vehicle this year in America is the shopping cart at the supermarkets. And that's what it really comes down to. It is. It's very tough. Very, very, very tough. So, let's see what else is there. You just heard a ding. Let me see where the ding came from. There it is. And that is the SPY, and the same thing's going on with the QQQ. As much as we're seeing, we saw the futures contract. It's got 4 days in a buy, but it's still having its problems trying to get into the weekly buy. What else is there? I guess that's about it. So traders, we'll jump off from here, and tomorrow is TGIF, and so we will. The last day of the week, we'll have a better idea of what the markets are trying to do. And so, we're going to sing our way out of here. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders. Have a safe and have a smart trading day. We will see you all tomorrow.